every single La Liga team, starting with Getafe. Getafe. What will they land on? And they get 55 million for 2 players. So that basically means they have to sign 2 players with a combined value of 55 million. And first player they've gone with is Dominic Solanke. He's a great striker, but maybe not the best. And then they've also gone with Willy Orban. 2 solid signings, but there's a twist. There are also 3 punishment budget, which says how much value a team should sell for. So anything can happen. Anyways, let's spin the wheel and see who we land on next. And it's Celta Vigo. Now let's spin again for their budget. And they land on 30 million for 1 player. That's not much to work with, but they've spent it all on Emi Martinez. This is actually huge for them. For a small club like Celta Vigo, that's massive because Emi Martinez is so good, and he instantly makes the team looks a lot better because goalkeepers are so important. But back to the wheel we go. Who's next? And it lands on Elche. Now let's spin for their budget, and they get 120 million for 1 player. That's insane. And the 1 player they've gone for is Rodri, one of the very best midfielders in the world. That's a very good decision from Elche because he makes that midfield controlled and stable. This is the biggest transfer of the video so far. Anyways, let's just spin the wheel again and see who we get, and this time it's Girona. Spinning for their budget now, and they land on 99 million for 2 players. Their first pick is McTominay for 60 million, then with the rest they've brought back Dovbyk. They clearly missed him, but yeah, Girona has improved, especially with McTominay in their midfield now. But let's keep the wheel spinning and see who's next, and it lands on Sevilla. Now for their budget spin, and wow, they get 180 million for 1 player. So they get 1 star signing to this team. Who will they go for? And they've gone straight in for Jamal Musiala. Musiala is a generational talent. He could carry Sevilla to the Champions League by himself, but it definitely makes the team look more scary, even with only 1 player brought in. Next spin, who do we land on? And it's Valencia this time. Now let's spin for their budget. They get 28 million for 1 player. Who would they even improve for their team? I don't know, but let's see who they spend the money on. And they spend it on Ramani, decent center back. He improves the team. Now back to the wheel, and we now land on Barcelona. Okay, this will get interesting. Let's spin for their budget. And they only get 10 million for 1 player. That's shocking. What can they even do with that 10 million? I guess improve their bench, but let's just see. And they've signed Di Maria. Okay, that's an alright signing. He does fit nicely into their bench, but realistically, Barcelona didn't improve that much at all. Let's spin again and see who's next. And we land on Real Betis. Now spinning for their budget, and they land on 300 million for 6 players. That's a big one. So they have a lot of money to improve this team, which isn't even that bad. They have Anthony the GOAT. Anyways, the first signing is Pickford for 25 million. Solid keeper. Then Lucas Hernandez for 50 and Locatelli for another 50 million. Both good signing. They've also gone for Barcola at 70 million. Then Patrick Schick for 60 million and also Zubimendi for 45 to close it out. Betis spent well here and massively boosted their squad. They are definitely a title contender. Bilbao. Time for their budget spin, and they only get 2 million for 1 player. Brutal for a team like Athletic Bilbao. But with that, they've signed Daily Blind, just a player for the bench, not more than that. Let's spin the wheel again and see where it goes, and we land on Espanyol. Their budget spin gives them 67 million for 1 player. Okay, Espanyol has an okay team, but I think they could need a better attacking midfielder, so they've spent their budget on Xavi Simons, the young talent who's just now signed for Tottenham, but now he is an Espanyol player, and he has to carry this team all alone. That will be tough, but he could do it, just like you could subscribe to me before the end of the year. Thank you, but it's time to spin the wheel again, and it lands on Villarreal now. What budget will they be getting? And forget that because it's a punishment. Minus 35 million for 1 player, so they have to remove a player worth 35 million from this team, which means they lose their best player, Ayoze Perez. It's not the worst, but it does still hurt their team. But back to the wheel we go now, and we land on Alaves. Let's see their budget, and it's insane. 500 million for 5 players. Imagine how much they can upgrade this team. First is David Raya for 70 million, then Ruben Dias for the defense. After that, it's Caicedo for 120 million, then Odegaard for the midfield also, which leaves them with 120 million, and they've used all that on the one and only Lautaro Martinez. The Inter Milan top striker is now joining Alaves. Alaves just became a super team. They literally went from mid-table contender now. But let's spin the wheel again and see what we get. And it's Rayo Vallecano this time. What budget are they getting? Or should I have said, what punishment? Because they land on minus 75 million for one player. And they actually don't have any players worth 75 million. So they're just losing their most valuable player, which is Isi, who's valued at around 35 million. Not the biggest hit, but still a hit for them. But now, spinning the wheel of clubs again, and we land on Levante. Let's see what their budget will be. They get 240 million for 3 players. So 3 players to add to this team. First, they've gone for Konate at 60 million, then Bastoni for 100, and finally Gravenberch, which is a huge signing because he's a young midfielder with big potential. And he's also just good. That's 3 great signings for Levante, though. They could do a lot for them. The wheel spins again, and this time it lands on Atletico Madrid, okay? I'm intrigued to see what they get. And they get 100 million for 3 players. That actually isn't even that much for a side like Atletico Madrid. But their first signing is Kevin De Bruyne. You know what? Fair play. He might be old, but he's still incredible. And he's joining for 40 million. Then Jared Bowen, also for 40 million. And finally Robertson for the left back. I would say that Atletico spent their budget smart. Considering they only got 100 million, they actually did well. Let's spin again and see who we get. And it's Real Sociedad. What budget or punishment though? Budget spin gives them 620 million for 5 players. Absolutely massive. That might actually be the biggest budget of the video. So let's see what they'll even do. First Saliba for 100, then Gabriel for 105. That's already a rock-solid defense. Then Alphonso Davies for 60. After that, they've added Wirtz for 200 million. But the final signing is actually Alexander Isak. The new Liverpool signing is returning back to Real Sociedad. That's huge for them. But this team now looks unstoppable. Real Sociedad is another team with a massive upgrade. Even they have a chance of winning the LaLiga now. But back to the wheel, and it lands on Real Oviedo now. What budget though? Their budget spin gives them only 5 million for 1 player. 5,000 to save this horror team? Yeah, that'll be impossible. Or never mind actually. They signed Galaxy. That's a pretty good keeper for a side like Real Oviedo. That's a lot better than I thought. Let's spin the wheel of clubs again, and we land on Mallorca. What money are they getting? Budget for them today is 45 million for 1 player. I think their team needs an improvement in their midfield, so they've gone for James Maddison. That's actually brilliant. I think he fits their team very well. So Mallorca has done pretty well with their money, but only 2 clubs left on the wheel, and only 1 punishment with 1 budget left. And first we land on the big boy Real Madrid. But will they get money or lose money? And they get the final budget, which is 80 million for 2 players. But again, for Real Madrid, that'll be hard to find a good starter for them. But the first they've gone for is Cucurella for 55. But then the big signing, Ronaldo back to Real Madrid? That's insane. This is amazing. But has he still got it in him? It looks like he won't be a starter over Mbappe, but still a solid bench player. And Cucurella does make the team also look good. So this is a solid budget for Madrid, but there is now only 1 team in the wheel left, and that's Osasuna. With only 1 thing left in the wheel, which is minus 145 million for 3 players. That means 3 players leave worth a combined 145 million. Again, Osasuna doesn't have 3 players worth a combined value of 145 million, which means they have to just remove their 3 most valuable players, and they are Boyomo for 30, Budimir for 25, and Aymar Oroz for 25 also. So yeah, they got hurt. But more importantly, that's now all teams done. But we've seen some crazy transfer, such as Musiala to Sevilla, Wirtz to Real Sociedad, and even Ronaldo back to Madrid. And the 3 teams that got punished were Villarreal, Rayo Vallecano, and also Osasuna. So without any further to do, let's just simulate a LaLiga season and see what all this has caused. Okay, we're now at the end of the season, so let's just see what has happened. So the 3 relegated teams are Vallecano, Osasuna, and Mallorca. That makes sense since 2 of those got punished. Espanyol got 14th, and in 13th we have Celta Vigo. Sevilla got 12th, and Valencia finished in 11th. Alaves got 10th, and in 9th we have Real Oviedo, surprisingly. Bilbao in 8th, and Villarreal got 7th despite being punished. Getafe in 6th, and then we have Real Betis in 5th with their 300 million budget. Real Madrid only gets 4th.